Kicking out, Northaluma's way. Here comes Dayden. Scramble. Tigers. Alex Twal. Alex Twal has ended up with a ball. Oh no. Unbelievable. One small step for man. One giant leap for Alex Twal.
Welcome to the ultimate SuperCoach and Fantasy Sports Show. You are now listening to the Insight Fantasy Sports Podcast.
Yes, g'day guys. Welcome back to Insight Fantasy Sports. It's the countdown show. We're about an hour away from round 20, and I thought, why not? We'll hop on. I'm riding solo, as you can see. It's just me, SuperCoach Brain, bringing you the countdown show. Maddie's on holidays. Shock me. Once again, sipping pina coladas. So I'm here to talk to you about all things round 20. I'll answer all your questions, all of your trade questions coming up for what is kind of a pretty tricky round. So I'll do my best to cover it all. I'll talk through my teams. It's something a little bit different. I've never really kind of shared my screen or my team or anything like that, but we'll talk through that, my moves this week. We'll go through the popular kind of moves as well, the top 10 most traded in, the top 10 most traded out. We'll talk through them, popular trades, and as we go, I'll answer questions. So this week, bit of a tricky one. I'm running kind of short this week. So as you can see on the screen, if you're watching on YouTube, first of all, please hit subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. Obviously, it helps us grow the channel. If you're listening on audio, I'd probably recommend maybe popping over onto the YouTube on this one and just checking it out. My team for this week. Now, I'll talk through my changes first. I'm doing 2 trades, as you can see in the top right there. Got 7 trades left, 150k in the bank. So my 2 trades this week are, I'm bringing in Fafita and Munster. I'm moving Isaiah Papali'i and Cody Walker. Now, Cody Walker's a bit of a reluctant sell, but I feel like as much as I'd love to hold him, the Rabbitohs 2 buys coming up just really aren't favourable for them. And it was made, a really good point was made by friend of the podcast, Arson Dragon, in the Discord, that the Rabbitohs are doing a lot of traveling over the next 7-8 weeks. They're basically living out of a suitcase for 6 weeks, and I didn't actually take that into consideration, but it made it easier for me now to move Cody Walker. So Cody Walker to Munster. I feel like Munster's at bottom price now. You're getting a 200k discount on Cam Munster, and we know what he can do at SuperCoach level. And then Isaiah Papali'i hasn't really done what I hoped he would do, so I'm moving IPAP on now to get David Fafita back in, and I feel like he's one of those guys that you're going to need in your team, and I think we said it on Tuesday. You're going to want him. You're going to want him in your team, and I think you need to probably free up cash or find a way to get him in this week. There were some scares, I think, around his availability, so that has been quashed, I guess. It was misreported by NRL.com that they said that he was suffering a hip pointer injury after Origin, is why his minutes were limited in Origin. It's not the case. His minutes were limited because he had a bit of a stiff back from all accounts, but came on at the back end of Origin 3 at the game there and finished the game off, which is positive and probably enough for me to be able to just take a plunge on him. So I'll just back him in. G'day, Fourth World, Queenslander, Benny G. Thanks for hopping on, boys. Anybody, like, if you missed the start, drop your questions in for round 20. We'll cover them as we go. So yeah, those are my moves this week, which leaves my team looking a little bit like this. So I still got Damien Cook. I don't actually think I'm going to move Damien Cook. I think I'll probably just run without Harry Grant, which makes me a little bit nervous, but not overly. I feel like Cook can probably match it with Grant. I know Grant has the bigger ceiling, but I don't mind Damien Cook. I don't think he's a bad option, and I think he's quite a good pod to go against Harry Grant. If you wanted another hooker, you probably want to go Harry Grant against Cook. I've still got Reed Marnie, and I've ran with Reed Marnie since I think round 3. So he's going to do a job for me. He's 500k, he's super cheap, and I know his price plummeted recently, but his price is coming back up now. If you want a second hooker and you're a little bit worried about getting cover or whatever, Reed Marnie's still a great option at sub 500k. You know what you're going to get, except people won't get him this week. They have bigger problems on their hands. I've got Tohu Harris, and Max King starting in the front row. Now, I obviously can't, well, I could use the reserve, but I've actually got 5 reserves available this week, and I've got a non-player in Valence Tavare. So I'm going to get the automatic emergency of Christian Welch, and that's the only option, which is great. So it leaves me with even 17 this week. So running skint, I can't afford for any of these Origin guys to not back up. So fingers crossed. Fingers crossed they do. So I brought in Fafita, as I said, for Isaiah Papali'i. I've still got Nikora, Olakawatu, and Hopgood in there in the 2RF. At the moment, I've got the VC on Kalen Ponga. I feel like he probably could do some damage to the Tigers tonight. I've got the captaincy on Moses at the moment. I'm still a little bit unsure about whether I go with Moses, potentially Gutherson, or even David Fafita. I feel like if Fafita's named to start, I might just chuck it on him running at Bryce Cartwright's edge. Mitch Moses did a good job of it on him during Origin 3, but, I mean, we know how hard it is to contain this bloke, which is why he's got so many tries this year. So David Fafita for captain this week in the last game of the round isn't a really bad shout. I'm not going with Captain Hines. I think 55% of teams, or the top 5% of teams, are actually captaining Nico Hines this week. I kind of don't really like the matchup too much for them against the Warriors in Auckland, I think it is. So not only do the Sharks not play well away from home, they don't play well against top 8 teams this year. The record's pretty obvious. I think they're 0-7 against top 8 teams. So that'll be interesting to see how that one plays out. So I'm hoping he kind of flops if I'm completely honest. Like I mentioned, Ponga VC, I brought Munster in, so he'll definitely be there for me this week. I've got Manu, Marju, Mulatalo, and then obviously I've got 4 non-players in Valence Tavare. I've got Johnston, Croker, and Munro on the bench, and then my fullbacks are Gutherson and Garrick. So that's how I am lining up this week. And the reason why I haven't put Gutherson and Fafita on my bench, because they're the last game of the week. One, Hopgood is 2. But I could swap these 2 around, but I want to have the option to be able to flip to a Gutherson captain in the last game if I want to. So I've got the option then to decide whether I want to go Gutho, Moses, or Fafita as a captain for the last game of the round. So it gives me a bit of flexibility there. If something comes to play and there's some news, maybe or a laid out or whatever, I can pivot on my captain and I don't get stuck. All right, we've got some questions coming in. Hey, Zach, how are you, mate? Matty O'Brien sipping pina coladas has dropped into the comments. Would I captain Val Holmes this week? Against the Bulldogs, I think it is, isn't it? No, it's against Manly. Would I captain Val Holmes against Manly? He's running at Kohler's edge, and Kohler's a relatively good defender. I mean, Saab isn't, but Kohler is. So I don't know, maybe Semi Valame maybe Murray Tuolangi gets a little bit more of an advantage than Val Holmes does. I don't know many people that get around Kohler too much. But Val Holmes, I mean, look, with the goal kicking, if they put a score on Manly, it's very easy to do. I don't hate it at all. And I feel like it's probably a safe option. He's going to get you a minimum of 60 or 70. So you know he's not going to flop completely. It just depends on how he holds up against Kohler on that edge. And he also says that he would go Gutho over Moses, which, yeah, look, fair enough. I just feel like Gutho's probably bagged a lot of cheap shit tries. Like, how many fucking tries has he got from dummy half? So I think he's got 4 or 5 in like 3 weeks or something. He just picks the ball up from dummy half on a break where the defensive line isn't set, and he just barges over when they least expect it. So I feel like he's got a lot of junk, Gutho. So I'm a little bit hesitant to back Gutho in to get more junk, if anything. But I do like it when Dylan Brown is not there. He has picked up the slack a little bit, so he gets through the work. There's no doubt. And he's going to be fresh from Origin, getting that, 2.5 minutes at the end of the game there. Thanks, Freddie, for looking after my boy. Yes, Fourth World. Joey Manu is playing fullback again. Tedesco's being rested. No injury there, which is good for any owners. You don't need to panic or trade. But Joey Manu owners would be very, very happy that he gets to go back to fullback and touch the ball. So I think he ends up touching the ball twice as much at fullback than any other. And I'd say if you've been following the pod, most people would have Joey Manu in their team at centre. All right. Okay, so I'll tackle the rest of these questions. We'll go and have a look at some popular trades then. Sam Greenberry, thanks for hopping on, mate. Piakura, Billy Smith, or Schuster for last reserve? Ooh, okay. Bit of a tough one. Schuster against the Cowboys. So the thing with Schuster is that what I feel happens with Schuster is that he piggybacked off the back of Turbo, creating so much doubt out the back. And now that Schuster hasn't got that link with Turbo, and don't get me wrong, Garrick's a great player, but he's not Tom Trebojevic. I feel like maybe that hinders Schuster now. He needs to run the ball more. At the moment, all he's doing is drawing and passing. And when the defense knows all you're going to do is pass when you come to the line, you can kind of play fake defense on him. So if Schuster starts running the ball a little bit more and actually testing the line, he'll be good. But I wouldn't be backing Schuster at all as a play. We sold him, I think, over a month ago. I would probably say Billy Smith, if anything, which is weird because we sold him too. But Piakura has shown that the work rate isn't really there. The PPM isn't amazing. I think he got like 20 last week in 50-odd minutes. The week before. Billy Smith is the only guy, as weird as it sounds, that potentially could get an 80 or 90. Even though it was about bloody 7 or 8 weeks ago when he did it. I'd probably play Billy Smith, personally. The problem is they come up against... It's hard because they come up against the Storm, and it's not ideal. But that right edge is definitely not as defensively sound as the left. So take with that what you will. Probably not some great options, but I'd say Billy Smith, man. And yeah, Manu C, definitely not the play this week. It is up against Melbourne, but I mean, Melbourne haven't been the same either. They haven't exactly been this kind of defensive powerhouse that they're known to be in previous years. So, and we know what Joey Manu can do. He's going to take 400 runs and all that. So he'll get through his work. Don't you worry about that. It's a pretty safe play, but there's just not really much upside playing against Melbourne. Cam's hopping on straight C on Stefano tonight. Well, he is fresh. Didn't have to. He got rested from Origin. So the news came out that Freddie told him apparently that he'd been rested after the 13 minutes in Origin that he played in State of Origin 2. So that was really good of Freddie as well. Fucking bizarre. Absolutely bizarre conversations. Zach, excuse me. Are we taking VC Ponga? How much? Look, I'm hoping for anything over 110. I think anything over 110, I'd probably be happy to just lock that in this week. Knowing that I've got a free loop, I don't have to cop a shit AE. I'd be pretty happy with 110, maybe 120. I mean, there are some good captain's options this week. That last game of the round is really nice to target. But if you're getting 110, 120 and you get a free loop, I'd take it. If you've got a shit AE, I'd probably say maybe 130 is the number. Let's hope. Buller, Will Shaw, Buller or AJ to Ponga, I would definitely... if we're talking AJ... Alex Johnston, or we're talking AJ Brimson. Buller's a tough one. He's lost so much cash. I mean, it depends when you got him, really. Did you get him at 200K or did you get him at 450, 500 when the FOMO kicked in? Because if you did, he's probably now back to his price, isn't he? He's like mid 500s or something. And he's got a massive break even as well. So cash-wise, if it means anything to you, I'd probably go Buller to Ponga, considering that if we're talking Alex Johnston. Yeah, cool. So we're talking Alex Johnston. He's going to play 2 more games than him. Alex Johnston, unfortunately, will miss, obviously, this week, and he'll miss round 26 as well. So if grand final head-to-head means anything to you, or you're in some cash comps or whatever, maybe Alex Johnston's the sell. He hasn't exactly been lighting it up. He's going to be my 5th centre wing that I can play on matchups this year, and that's probably it for me. I'd take the goal kicker as well with Moses. Yeah, perfect. So, and this is going to come up all weekend, so we could talk about it until the cows come home. Let's just hope Ponga goes massive, hey? That would be ideal. Jason Clarkson, hey, mate. I've gone IPAP to Fafita and Mulatalo to Munster via Manu. Interesting. I mean, I don't know whether I'd panic trade Mulatalo after 1 week. Just depends when you got him. If you got him last week, you're probably a little bit pissed off. But I don't know. I'd stick strong with Mulatalo. I am personally. I'm not moving him. I'm not trading him. So, but if it's the only way to get Munster in, then I'm fine. I can deal with that. I'm fine with that. Matty would play Piakura for who, I can't remember who it was. Sam, to answer your question, Matty would play Piakura. So there's a little bit of extra insight for you as well. Mark has a late note. Have a late note. Yeah, good, mate. No, you have. You are excused. You're always on first, mate. So thanks for joining us. Yeah, got Buller. If you got Buller nice and cheap, mate, just take the cash and move him on. He's going to plummet and drop more cash. I'd probably move him for Ponga this week and throw the VC on. Yeah, Paul. Matrix is on holidays, mate. He went away for the weekend, I think, from what he's told me. So maybe he can answer because I know he's in the comments somewhere listening. Keen to get opinions on captains this week as Chan's Nickel Clockstead worked so well for him last week. Yeah, didn't work well, did it? But that's okay. I mean, C&K wasn't going to light it up every single week, was he? We'll look through popular captains soon as well once I get through these questions. All right, Josh. Need to trade one of the following to a cheaper enough for Cleary, AJ, Penasini, or Jack de Belin. All right. To get Cleary. Okay. So to get Cleary, you've got to trade one of these guys to enough. Alex Johnston, Penasini, or Jack de Belin. I actually don't think any of them are a really bad option to trade, I mean. I feel like Alex Johnston obviously will play 2 less games, but maybe there's more attacking upside and a better opportunity there outside Cody Walker. Knows how to unlock him, so maybe hold Alex Johnston. Penasini, I mean, he's going to miss around 27 as well, we need to remember, for Eels. For anybody who's low on trades as well, you don't want to have to move 4 Eels in the final round and get caught short. Jack de Belin is just your plug-and-play 50 to 60 he'll get you every single week. So I don't know. It depends what your front row and second row looks like as well. Being a dual front row, second row that can get you 50 to 60, I don't know whether you need to trade him. I'd probably be looking at either AJ or Penasini, Josh. I'm just flip a coin on which one, mate. I'd probably even just say the base in Penasini versus the upside and the try scoring in AJ. That's what you need to decide. Flip a coin. All right. Moses will kick goals. Yeah, he definitely will. Bizarre, isn't it, that Freddie didn't let Stephen Crichton kick goals for New South Wales the other night over Moses? I don't know what the game plan was there. That was a bit bizarre. All right. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at as we slide back into teams, and we'll look at players and the most popular trades, and we'll have a look at a few trends. Excuse me. All right. So most popular trade is David Fifita to Jacob Preston to David Fifita. Bit of a no-brainer. People are trading out Valence Tavare as well to Blake Wilson, and I'm assuming the reason for that is to probably free up some cash maybe to get a guy like Fifita or Cleary. So I'm okay with that. I think Valence Tavare probably won't see much more first grade this year based on his defensive efforts the last few weeks. Haven't been great. Damien Cook to Harry Grant. See, I don't agree with that one. I don't think you want to burn a trade at hooker. I mean, maybe people are trying to get the final number to have a flat 17 this week. I feel like you can find it elsewhere with good teams on the buy, like Raiders and I mean, not many people have Dragons players, but I don't know whether Damien Cook to Harry Grant's the answer. I'd hold Damien Cook. I mean, I'm hoping people move him so he becomes more of a pod. I'm just going to run with him on the run home. Dream Buller to Blake Wilson. Yep, agree with that one. Plummeting cash versus a guy who'll pick up some cash. Maybe even nuffs out. Or he holds that spot. I mean, we've just seen Jarrell Skelton get named and Josh Addo-Carr be rested after Origin. So it looks like Skelton coming in means that maybe Wilson has the right wing for the rest of the season. Who knows? We don't know. There's been so many of these things pop up. Can't guess it. Payne Haas to Tino. I don't like that either. Payne Haas to Tino. Payne Haas is back next week. They've said that it's only a minor issue. He's back around 21. So I don't see the point in trading Payne Haas to Tino. I think that's sideways. Jeremy Marshall-King to Harry Grant is an interesting one. Jeremy Marshall-King, apparently it was quoted that he will be back next week. Now, take from that what you will. I read it on 2 separate websites now, 2 separate articles, one from the Dolphins on Jeremy Marshall-King being back next week. So for anybody who's about to fall into the Harrison trap at hooker, I'd probably advise against it because there's a good chance he's going to become either an AE nightmare or completely drop out of your team and you're going to be running with one hooker for the year. So I'd probably avoid that. Tavare to Munro, absolutely. Munro's about to make a stack of cash. If you don't have him, I'd probably want to get him in. But the problem is he doesn't play this week. So if you're short on numbers, you're in a bit of trouble. The good thing is you can get him next week and you don't miss out on the cash. But a lot of people are just preemptively grabbing him now so that they can then work on potentially getting Cleary and all these other guns next week. So I get that. Buller to Munro as well makes sense. Walker to Ponga and Walker to Munster. So I'm doing the Walker to Munster move, the Walker to Ponga move. They both make sense in a way. If you don't have to move Cody Walker, I probably still wouldn't. I still like him. I still like Cody Walker. I think he could have a good run home. They've got a really nice draw as well. They've just got a bit of travel to do, which isn't ideal. All right, most traded out. We've probably spoken about most of them. Harrison Edwards obviously is a trade out now. 3,000 teams have traded him out, which makes a lot of sense considering he hasn't been named and we're expecting to be able to rely on him last week and this week, unfortunately. Cody Walker, we've already talked about. Jared Croker, people are moving him on as well. He's probably my ticket to my 4th centre wing gun. So I will probably trade him out next week as well. And then people are trading out AJ. So look, there's Rabbitohs in here. You've got Cook, you've got Walker, you've got Johnston. So all of those that people are trying to make numbers up this week. I just urge everybody that if you have to trade a Cody Walker out to get 17, I don't know whether it's worth it. But anyway, food for thought. I'd probably maybe even hold Cody Walker if Munster wasn't your target, and maybe just try and go Damien Cook out, less upside. I don't know. Just my thoughts. Most traded in for Fafita, yes. Blake Wilson should be pretty good. Kalen Ponga, yes. Munster, yes. All no-brainers here. Tyrone Munro, everyone's going early to get the cash, which is fine. There's a good chance that he'll play the rest of the year on the right wing. And I know we've said that in previous pods, but about other guys, and Richie Kennar is a perfect example of that. But I think we're pretty safe with Tyrone Munro for the year. Harry Grant, people are getting him. Yep, I get it. I just don't like going Cook to Grant, but I mean, if you're playing the upside game, it kind of makes sense. Tino, yeah, I get Tino, definitely. I mean, can you afford Tino and Fafita? I feel like you probably got to pick between the two depending on how your team's set up. So I'd be picking Fafita every day of the week. Tino's been scoring tries after tries after tries the last few weeks, and that's going to stop eventually. And you're buying him at peak price at $835K. Tohu Harris, pretty stock standard, solid. You know what you're going to get from Tohu. So I'm fine with that trade. Harrison Graham, I'm not, based on the news I've seen about JMK this week. So I'd reverse those trades on JMK. And Addin Fanua-Blake, I don't like either. Not a big fan of that one. I feel like Addin Fanua-Blake has been on a bit of a downward climb. If we look at his stats very quickly, his, what have we got, 5 round average. I mean, 60, mid-60s, but he was looking at 80, 85 there. So he's starting to kind of come back down to that price where you maybe would consider him, but I feel like there's probably just better options with, you've got Tino, you've got Tohu, you've got, Tohu's cheaper than Addin Fanua-Blake as well. You've also got Joey Tarpany and you've got Payne Haas. Like, you can't also fit in Addin Fanua-Blake into that mix. You probably need one of the top 4. So that is where I would probably be going with that. Some more questions coming in. Yeah, Fittler must have chosen Crichton to kick. Yeah, that's definitely what happened, Zach. I think it just doesn't make sense to me. Timoko to Murray Taulagi. Yeah, I mean, last week I spoke on the pod about Taulagi and how I kind of liked him on Sunday. I don't mind him if you want a piece of that Cowboys pie that we spoke about. Matty Timoko has been pretty good, though. Is it worth a trade? It just depends if it means you're going to get 17 players or not. Timoko isn't a guy you're going to want to hold because he's a genuine gun, though. I think Timoko's a guy maybe you want as a massive pod. And if you like Murray Taulagi to be that guy and you've got some trades up your sleeve, take the punt, do it. I was very close to getting Taulagi this week, and I'm really still hoping I can reach him next week. I don't think I'm going to be able to, though, if he goes big again with that negative break even. Paul, down to last trades. Do I get Cleary or Tino? I have Haas, Tarpany, Harris, and enough in the front row, and then Hines and Johnston in the halves. Okay, this is a good question because it comes down to a bit of mail that I've got on Cleary not playing this week. So when we get to the Penrith game, so words come out, and the source is relatively close to Isaiah Yeo. The word has come out, and I've seen it 2 separate occasions now. Once on Rugby League Guru was talking about it on Beers and Break-Evens, and also I've then got a mate contact me and basically say, yeah, none of the Origin players are going to be backing up for Penrith, and Cleary will not play either. So take from that what you will. It obviously isn't confirmed by the club or anything, but it is the inside word from someone who's close with Isaiah Yeo. So be very careful if you're bringing in Cleary, considering they're playing at 2 p.m. on Sunday. I would have a feeling that on 2 p.m. on Saturday, we're going to know what's going on there because you're probably going to see a ton of these guys drop off and there's going to be some big changes in. So I'm fading Cleary this week. And if he plays, he plays. It's 130 break even. That's fine. I can just pass this week. And if I cop it, I cop it. But the mail is that he doesn't play. And I'm going to back that. So I've left Cleary out this week. So maybe Tino's your answer, Paul. Actually, no, definitely Tino's your answer because I don't think Cleary plays. Any thoughts, Mark, on Dom Young being this week's Katoa on that edge? Yeah, absolutely. Every chance. I've got him down as a double try scorer in my multi tonight, if that's worth anything. I think the Tigers defended the left edge really well last week. Obviously, Mulatalo only got 18, but obviously Katoa got a hat-trick. So I feel like Dom Young could probably tear that right edge apart as well. And just depends where Ponga sweeps, because Ponga does love going down the left edge. He kind of plays as a left edge, like a 5'8", really, but he just sweeps out the back a little bit more. So let's see. I know that left edge is Ponga's preferred side, but maybe they look at the way that the Sharks played against the Tigers last week and they just pepper the right all night. I'd say so. And yeah, sorry, I didn't even read this, but yeah, he's spot on. Mark, it's his less dominant side. Semi Valame flying under the radar this week. Yes, I think so. He does have a nice matchup. I know that the right edge of the Bulldogs, I think, are we talking the Bulldogs here? No, we're talking Manly, aren't we? The right edge of Manly concede some tries. Yeah, we are. So the right edge of Manly concede, I think, we put the try map up in the Discord. If you haven't joined the Discord yet, make sure you do it. Hop on in. The try map suggests that Valame could be in the running to score a try this week. So don't mind that shout at all. Yeah, and absolutely bizarre 45 people trading for feeder out this week. Some of these stats are fucking incredible. Makes absolutely no sense. I like going through at the end of every week and just having a look and going, who traded out Nico Hines? Like, some people are just doing the weirdest shit. Obviously, they don't watch podcasts or anything, and they kind of just don't really, maybe even don't follow SuperCoach. So, yeah, kind of funny. Downgraded. So Crazy Praying Mantis downgraded Cook to Verrills so he could get Fafita and Tino. I mean, I don't hate that. I don't hate that at all. If you're gonna, and it just depends who your other hooker is, really. If you had Grant and Cook, you've definitely got to downgrade one. There's no point having both. Or if you had if you had a Marnie or a Blake Brayley or someone like that you could rely on that was half decent, and then your other hooker was someone in the bin, yeah, go down to a Verrills. Verrills looks decent. And if that means you can get a Fafita and Tino combination, holy shit, that is huge. So take that and run. Take that and run. All right, very quickly, let's talk about the changes that we know of so far. So I'll quickly slide over to the tab on Zero Tackle. Get rid of these ads on the page. All right, here we go. So as you can see here, Dane Gagai's out tonight. So he was dropped or kind of removed. He's still got that plantar fascia issue. I think it's that foot issue. So he's out. Anari Tuala's in. No other changes for the Knights. And no changes for the Tigers. So, the big ones here, I guess, are Api Coruscant to see how he comes back from that broken jaw. Isaiah Papali'i and John Bateman on the edges. IPAP being on the left edge now, I don't actually mind that. He is running it Frizzell, though, which isn't ideal. Yeah, he will be running it Frizzell on the left edge, which isn't ideal. Lachlan Fitzgibbon running it Bateman. So, not too bad. Not too bad. Adam Elliott at lock. Fanua Pole is an interesting one as well. 350k, I think he is for the Tigers. He's dual front row, second row. Might be a nice downgrade option if you're looking for someone to free up a little bit of cash as well, and someone that you know is going to play for the next 7 weeks, 7 to 8 weeks. Obviously, the Tigers have finished all their buys now, so I don't mind Fanua Pole if you're looking to free up a little bit of cash as maybe your 5th or 6th 2RF or your 4th front row forward. I probably wouldn't rely on him to do any more than that. All right, next one we've got is the Bulldogs and the Broncos. The changes have come through for this one. Now, Josh Adokar, like I mentioned, is out. Skelton is in. The rest of the team are 1 to 17. And then we've also got Corey Oates, unfortunately, out. I can't remember exactly what it was, but he's going to be out for a while by the sounds of things. So Jesse Arthurs comes in on the wing for him. And from what it looks like, Selwyn Cobbo's moving over to the left wing. Jesse Arthurs to the right wing. So that's interesting. So Selwyn Cobbo could be in the try conversation, and Tristan Sailor could be in the conversation for anytime try scorer this week, as fullbacks score very well against the Bulldogs. I think they've got the most tries this year out of any other team at fullback versus the Bulldogs. So I wouldn't mind taking Sailor as an anytime try scorer as well. The only other game that we have left is Manly versus North Queensland. We'll flip over to that one real quick. They're both 1 to 17. All players are named to back up from Origin as well. So your DCE and Jake Turbo are there. They've still got Sean Keppie in the extended bench, though, so we don't know how that'll play out. And why they're playing Aaron Woods over Sean Keppie absolutely baffles me. I'm not sure what's going on there. All the Cowboys are named to back up too. So very good news for those of you sweating on Jeremiah Nanai potentially with that hip pointer issue. Val Holmes, obviously. Scotty Drinkwater's nice and fresh, but probably revitalised and pretty excited about being involved in New South Wales camp. So good on him. Jason Taumalolo still off the bench, Cotter at lock. So those are the teams that we've seen changes from so far. All right. Val Masterclass, yeah, probably will happen considering I'm not an owner and you are, Matty. All right. I think we've tackled all of the questions. We've tackled most popular trades. Guys, if there's no other questions, we'll wrap up the episode. Hopefully everybody has a good week this week and see some green arrows. Just a little kind of wrap up from me. Obviously, a big thanks to the major sponsor of the podcast, the Standard Squeeze. If you haven't heard of them, go and hop on the website, thestandardsqueeze.com. You've got the Insight 15 code, the promo code there to use to get yourself 15% off. So they've got quality products. They've got some apparel as well, which looks pretty mean. They've got the 4-in-1s. They've got their squeeze bottles. Excuse me. And we'll get you 15% off at checkout. So, and obviously, if you are in them, hopefully you're in the Molten Unlimited League in SuperCoach this year. We will get you, or if you win, you got a SuperCoach ring. And every single week, if you're the highest scorer in that league, you get yourself a combo pack or a 4-in-1. So pretty cool from the guys at Standard Squeeze. We thank them for their support. And yes, Fourth World Ponga 150 plus would be absolutely ideal. We would love that. All right, guys, I'll leave you to it. Good luck this week. Hopefully your trades work out. Plenty to talk about. And if you want to stay up to date in the Discord, I'm going to drop the Discord link right here in the chat after we finish up. So just come back to the video. It'll be in the comment section. Join in. We'll talk about our trades and our moves because obviously things are going to need to change a fair bit this week. You might need to pivot here and there on a trade or a move that you made because maybe a player gets ruled out late or something like that. So especially with all of these rumours floating around about Cleary not playing and the Penrith Origin players potentially not backing up. Obviously Tedesco isn't backing up either. Neither is Paddy Carrigan. So there's a bit happening and we always know that there's restings after Origin 3. So definitely keep an eye out. And make sure you keep the trades nice and fluid. You're going to need to. All the best this week, guys. We'll be back for the Sunday show to wrap up the whole week. Until then, you've been listening to the Insight Fantasy Sports podcast. We'll catch you later.